But I don't have visions like that, but I had a vision, and it was of a sort of connection. I suppose you could say like a bike wheel, spokes all connected to a centre, different connections taking place. And I came back and I put these thoughts down, which were later to become the basis really for our why as a church, about connectivity, about feeling that there are people within the church who are not connected, and that most importantly to connect with the community.
And from that came what we call the feasibility study, which was a 6-month opportunity to go out and talk to the circuits and churches and see where they were and see where we could connect and enthuse and so on. And that then transformed into a circuit development plan, which is a working document which has all of those ideas brought together and given some shape so that we're going forward not haphazardly, but we've got some idea about what are the emphases and where that's going to lead us.
I didn't have anything to guide me what to do, but my skills are in listening, analysing, in strategising, and in coming up with ideas and presenting those ideas. So what I did was I thought, well, I need to start to just listen to people's stories. So I lined up lots of different people from the churches and just got them to say a bit about what they felt about their church and what they felt and what their story was and where that might lead and what sort of ideas they might have even.
I've been in a lot of churches where people have kind of had a lot of angst because, we used to have youth clubs and we need a youth club, we need this. And if you're all in your 70s or 80s, that's not feasible. You just can't do that. So therefore, it doesn't mean that God doesn't have any work for you to do when you get older. It's just that God's calling on you is different.
Yeah. I think a lot of it depends on what your interests are, and you have to use these interests in this mission work. It's not everybody happy doing one thing, and so you have to use the talents you've got. And that is what mission's about, in my opinion.
I have a shop on the high street. It's right smack bang in the middle of Pendraef, which is this area. So January, when it was really, really cold, we opened the doors on a Wednesday afternoon, inviting the community in to tell us what they would like in the actual space itself, and what they miss and what they would like in Pendraef. We had meetings where we sit down with people and we just ask them for words and what society and community means to them. So the hope is now to have 109 High Street as a gallery, but it'll also be a poetry space, a music space. It's lots of creatives coming together.
And what we're particularly interested in is how we can use the arts and culture to regenerate Bangor High Street, because Bangor High Street is in a deep economic pit. And we live in a bilingual city here in Bangor. It's the English language and the Welsh language, but it's also a multilingual city in that it's a culturally diverse place with people from around the world speaking a multiplicity of languages. And there's one language that speaks to us all, and to me that's music. You could say, in my belief system, God is a musician, and we're notes within the melody of God's song.
I'm a pioneering director, which means I have the opportunity to come in and build something from the ground up. And so in these early months, I've had the opportunity to meet with local leaders, churches, ministries, and find out what they're up to. This is a really unique area in that we have lots of young people who exist kind of all over the place. They're spread out on Anglesey, they're here in Bangor, they're all over the place, and they are eagerly searching for connection. And so I've had the opportunity to meet with lots of people and talk a little bit of strategy. What are you doing that's worked really well? What are you doing that's worked not so well? And what are your dreams for the future? And so these early months have been tons of dreaming.
From this process, we have identified the need and employed someone who works 2 days a week as an Anna chaplain. We also have Grace O'Boyle, our Bangor Youth for Christ worker. And this is particularly exciting for us because it's working very directly with the local Baptist church and Mosaic Church, which is a house church, because we've all identified this need for young people to be reached in our communities. And then we also have the links with the community that Martin and Arwen represent. That's something very new for us here in Bangor, but it has all sorts of possibilities of reaching out into many different directions. And from our point as the church, getting us involved in community action and practice in ways that we haven't been able to do in recent years.
There are certain things we can learn. We can learn to listen. I keep banging on about that. So I hope you're listening.